This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.
You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Welcome one, welcome all to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith, and we're joined today for the very first time by Indoor Harvest Corporation. They're traded on the OTCQB exchange under the ticker symbol INQD. We're speaking with the founder and chief executive officer for the company, Mr. Chad Sykes. Chad, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, Stuart?
I am doing very well. You have created quite the unique company, both in its corporate structure and its capital structure. You are the first IPO in this industry, and we'll get into what exactly I'm talking about right now in just a little bit. But let's start with who is Indoor Harvest Corporation, and then we'll talk a little bit about how you took the company public. Go ahead, Chad.
Gotcha. The big picture basically is that we're setting up to be a mechanical contractor for the indoor farming industry. So that would eventually cover everything from all the mechanical installations such as the growing facilities, plant operations, all the way through HVAC. Basically anything that has to do with the mechanical construction side of the industry. We have developed a couple of products so far. We've developed a high-pressure aeroponics system. It's been in use by MIT, part of their MIT City Farm project. And we've also developed a very low-cost vertical rack system for shallow raft and for hydroponic production. We basically teamed up with Illumitech, which is a big LED company, and designed the framing system to use their lights. And then other than that, basically we also signed a deal with Tweed that's basically testing out our aeroponic technology. And if they like it, then it would lead to a design-build agreement with them and about a 10-year exclusive agreement for manufacturing. And we also would share certain intellectual property. So at this point right now, we've mainly been focused on developing our IP. We do have one patent pending, and hopefully we'll be able to file a few more here in the near future. And once we get the IP settled out, we'll scale up operations and begin basically selling our products and services as a mechanical contractor for the industry.
Well, let me jump in and tell people right off the bat, to learn more about these technologies, go to indoorharvest.com. I know a lot of our listeners have heard the word hydroponic, but differentiate for us aeroponic that they may not be familiar with. I know I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically aeroponics, the method that we work with was originally developed by NASA. It was developed to grow produce in outer space. So obviously it was designed to be incredibly efficient. We just basically took where NASA left off and developed out a larger platform. The big difference between hydroponics and aeroponics is that we don't use a medium. So in hydroponics, the water and the nutrients are used as the medium, but in aeroponics, we suspend the roots in air, and then the roots are fed through a highly atomized mist. And basically what this does is it dramatically reduces the amount of fertilizers that are needed and increases the production output as well as the photochemical makeup of the plant. So you typically see about a 60% reduction in fertilizer, about a 20% reduction in vegetative growth, and you eliminate all the costs associated with using a medium such as, rock wool or cocoa or anything that would be used in a hydroponic platform.
And let's talk about target markets. Who are you serving with this technology? Is it the everyday consumer all the way up to the large corporations, everything in between? Define the target market.
So right now we've developed two platforms. So the aeroponic platform is really sort of being designed for large-scale commercial use. So it'd be used in like a large cannabis facility or in a pharmaceutical-based industry where they're using plant-based expression. For example, there's a company here in Texas that grows a tobacco plant to derive a vaccine or basically a pharmaceutical product to fight the Ebola virus. So there's a big industry on the pharmaceutical side for what's called plant-based expression. So our high-pressure aeroponic platform is mainly designed for large commercial pharmaceutical production. And then our hydroponic platform, which is really it's just a vertical farming framing system. We designed that for both the smaller commercial operator, somebody who may be operating under a few thousand square feet, all the way up to a larger 30 or 40,000 square feet operation.
Well, let's look back at the company and kind of go back to my intro. You are a young public company recently listed on the OTCQB exchange, fully reporting, fully transparent, but unlike so many companies that come into this space via a reverse merger, your company came in as an IPO. Tell the listeners why that's important.
Well, the biggest reason is you don't end up with all the skeletons that you tend to get with a reverse merger. So we don't have any unknown shell stock promoters or just issues with our equity that are unknown. So we know who all our shareholders are, and all of our shareholders actually purchased stock for an actual real dollar amount. So we don't have any of the typical issues you get with a reverse merger. The
massive overhang, right? We're talking about that overhang, those things that's hard to eat through, the different, like you said.
Exactly. I mean, that's, traditionally that's when people talk about penny stocks, they talk about the pump and dump, and that's typically the results of shell promoters, exiting their position after a reverse merger. So we don't have any of those issues. And the other benefits to a IPO is that the SEC has fully reviewed our filings and have commented on them. So our filings are basically exactly what the SEC wants to see. So we're not going to have any issues in the future. At least, hopefully, we won't have any issues in the future with the SEC having disclosure issues, since they've already completely and fully reviewed all of our filings, as well as FINRA. FINRA has also reviewed all of our information regarding our share issuances. So in order to get that ticker symbol initially, because with a reverse merger, the company already has a ticker symbol, not only did we have to clear the SEC, but we also had to clear FINRA, and we had to clear the DTC. So we had to go through 3 regulatory bodies before we could even trade.
Well, let's talk then about achievements for the company so far. It's as again I mentioned, it's a young company in its public structure, but you've been around a little while. What do you see as some of the major milestones for the company so far?
A few of the milestones, I guess, initially, filing our patent was a pretty big deal, I think. I think our patent really covers a very unique aspect to aeroponic technology. It's a fixture-based approach as opposed to a pre-engineered approach, so we are the first company to develop that type of scenario. The other big milestone was, our technology did attract the interest of MIT, and they have been using our platform that we developed for them. They used one platform for a little over a year and then had us design a second platform. So the technology has been in use by a research institute. So, the good thing about that is we do have, we are well beyond proof of concept with our technology. And then the next big milestone would have been Tweed. They found out about our technology. We discussed it with them, and they saw a huge potential impact on their production. So we were able to initiate a pilot project with Tweed. In fact, it should be getting underway here pretty soon. And lastly, which is the one I think we're really excited about the most, is we did sign a letter of intent with the city of Pasadena here in Texas, which is local to us, to basically co-develop a private-public partnership in which we'll be developing and building a large vertical farming facility, if you will. It's going to have both academics and commercial operations. And that operation is going to be subsidized. They're going to be offering us basically free facilities. It's I think we're only paying $10 a year for our building, and we don't pay any tax on the property for 10 years. So it's a really good, partnership to be working with the city, and it also, basically verifies that, a lot of people have looked at us and they know that our technology works.
Well, then that leads me into my next obvious question, which is, what does the future hold? What are some of the major milestones that you want to achieve as 2015 plays out? Go ahead.
So the nearest term thing is going to be getting our new shallow raft platform that we rolled out earlier this year, get it up and running and get some sales going. We were just recently at the Indoor Ag Conference in Vegas, and we had a lot of people interested in the platform. So hopefully here in this second quarter, we'll start some revenue. We'll start generating some sales of that platform. And then the other thing is just bringing more partners on board. With the Pasadena project, we're now going to be able to attract higher quality partners because everybody wants to be involved in a public-private partnership. So we'll be, looking to bring on new partners and basically develop out the technology and in some respects move the company from development stage into actual operations.
Well, listeners, I do want to point out all the different ways you can get a hold of this company. As I said earlier, indoorharvest.com. You can also reach them on facebook.com/indoorharvest, and you can tweet the company directly, twitter.com/indoorharvest. But Chad, in addition to being an IPO and not a reverse merger, there's another unique thing about your company. You're a young CEO and founder, so let's face it, you are hip to the technologies like Facebook and Twitter. If an investor wanted to learn about your company, they can go back on Facebook to the inception, right? This is, as you pointed out once before to me, this is really a true garage startup, and they can follow the history right there on Facebook.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I knew. The goal here was to take the company public and, promote this industry, and so the very first thing we did was set up a Facebook page, and we blogged about all of our startup efforts since inception. So anybody can go to our Facebook page and our Twitter page, and they can look at all the things that we've done and blogged about. And in addition to that, they can even go to our Twitter feed and see who all has been following us and how we've been able to gain a large following. We are actually a pretty respected company in our industry segment right now. All that information's on our Facebook page and Twitter page.
Well, I'm on your Facebook page. Not only are you respected, but there's a lot of good points that are brought up on your page, such as you're the only public company within this space. You just pointed out the private-public partnership that people can become a part of through becoming a shareholder in your company. So there's a lot to like about you guys. Terrific job for you and your company, Chad. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us here today at SmallCapVoice.com. We look forward to more great things with you as we interview you again in a few weeks. Thanks so much, Chad.
Thank you.
All right, for Chad Sykes, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger, and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com.